A few days ago, we played host on Newsday to Labour Party chieftain Abayomi Arabambi, and in the course of the interaction, he sought to make the case for the candidate of Nigeria Democratic Congress, Peter Obi, to quit next January's presidential race owing to what he calls discrepancies in the filing of certain documents. Well, Mr. Arabambi's submissions clearly didn't go down too well with those who share Obi's political ideology, none more so than the North-Central chapter of the Obidient Movement, whose spokesman, Emmanuel Idakwo, joins us now to exercise a right of reply. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us, Emmanuel.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. Now, you definitely listened to that interview. What's your initial reaction?
It's not. I'm not quite surprised. I'm looking at the character of Abayomi Arabambi and his political career. You could see clearly that Abayomi Arabambi has been somebody who has built his whole political career, based on fractions. He's somebody, he will tell you he has been national publicity secretary of the Labour Party, but fractional, so to say, the fraction of Lamid Apapa. And so you could see the whole drama that he pulled up with Lamid Apapa within the 2023 electoral cycle. And that was where he actually got prominence in this charade that he has, decided to take too far. Because at the moment, I can tell you that what he does as a career politician, because you can not single-handedly or directly point out any other thing that he does for a living. What he does is, to create clouds like this, and then that is how he gets the paycheck to take care of his family. So a character like that, Nigerians are already used to such persons. So we are not surprised when such individuals, try to make, a case out of nothing. When at the time when Nigerians are focused, asking the right questions, when the presidential candidate of the APC, who is a sitting president, filled his form without putting details like the primary school he went through, the secondary school he went through. We don't have any details of such. We cannot tell anyone who has been his classmates from primary to secondary, and he just tells us he has a BSc, okay? And Nigerians are asking certain questions and say, how possible it is for you to have a BSc without, going through the four walls of the primary and secondary school? What are the certificates, the documentation, you did to, begin to study, to get the BSc? And these are the things that Nigerians are focused on. So political tools like Arabambi, always make themselves as tools that would distract Nigerians from asking the right questions. When we are facing, the worst, administration by far since 1960, it is very important for Nigerians to look at the fact and see that all of these discussions, have no water. It has no roots whatsoever. It is totally a distraction to Nigerians, because when you listen to all that he's saying, you can see that there is no facts to it. It is not an issue. It is not illegal for somebody to have four names, by the way. And if you look at the personality of His Excellency Peter Obi, it's very clear. You could just Google it and you would see very clearly his names. It's clear for everyone to see. He has been someone who has been very active, has worked both in banking, in trading, all right, and also politics. And his track record is clear. And that is why every time we speak about His Excellency Peter Obi, we always tell people, go and verify, because we have verifiable facts to everything that you can attach to his person. So for him as a person, Mr. Peter Obi, he is focused on the issues. And when you look at what we're talking about today, we're looking at the issues that we face as Nigerians to move this country from a country that is, focused on consumption to creating areas of production, moving the country from consumption to production, securing this country. We could see clearly that the administration that we have today does not have the capacity and the political will.
Emmanuel, if I may come in right now,
to secure this country. Those are the issues that we're focused on.
Yeah. You talked about issues and, fine that Mr. Obi is focused on. But then again, you have to be clear here. Mr. Arabambi does have a right to do a critique of the past of Mr. Obi if he's not comfortable with it, and it also goes to the fact that how effective are Nigeria's mechanisms for scrutiny of, the deeds of public office holders, whether they want to, get into office or not, or before then. So, to a large extent, he has that right to do that. But do you think, to a large extent, it's weighty enough to demand a resignation or dropping of his presidential ambition?
Quite frankly, that is where the situation is quite ironical, because yes, he does have the right to ask questions, all right? But when you look at, the depth of what he's talking about, you can see it's just nothing more than charade that he just wants to catch the attention of Nigerians on an issue that is very clear. The answers to what he's asking is simply on Google. The answer to what he's asking, you can easily get it from the track record of His Excellency Peter Obi. And what we're trying to say in essence is, if you want to ask questions, all right, such as this, we have more important questions that you could ask, not something that is clear for everyone to see, that the blind could even see. You're now asking people, oh, this thing I don't understand, it is not clear for me. It is clear for everyone to see. If His Excellency Peter Obi had such issues with his name whatsoever, I don't think it will be possible for him to grow through the ranks, all right, in the banking system. I don't think it will be possible for him to have managed more than 10, all right, he has been chairman or director of more than 10 different reputable institutions, all right? And such an individual, for you to now come up and say, oh, he has an issue with his name, how can he have 4 names, which is not illegal whatsoever. So you see the direction of his questions, shows clearly that this individual is just trying to get political clout and nothing more than that. He's just trying to make himself, seen and relevant to those who are his paymasters. Because for a fact, we all know as Nigerians that the most sellable thing for anybody at this moment is for you to, have something to say about His Excellency Peter Obi. So many persons got special advisors, all right, in this administration because they could talk about His Excellency Peter Obi. Some also became ambassadors, all right, on that same frequency because they have nothing more to offer Nigerians. So I see the game he's trying to play, but I'm trying to tell him Nigerians know better at this point.
Okay, Emmanuel, I had a bit of trouble hearing you, but now everything's clear. But based on all that you've laid out so far, talking about Arabambi being someone who's trying to gain clout from this situation, is the Obidient Movement or someone from Peter Obi's camp considering taking legal action based on all that has occurred recently?
I believe His Excellency is focused on a whole lot of things, and it's left for his legal team and other individuals around him to make such decision. But I'll say this very clearly, that even in the face of all of this charade, we still focus on the issues that matter, because His Excellency Peter Obi is so passionate about getting this country to work. All right, what we are focused about at the moment, the principal thing that we are focused on is to get the new Nigeria of our dream, a productive country. It is for us to stop the killing and start the healing. It's for us to stop the slide and start the climb. We really need to turn, the situation of this country around. And His Excellency Peter Obi, has shown the commitment, to do all of these things. And as a matter of fact, one of the biggest issues we have in our country today is corruption. And for us to turn things around, we need a leader that has conquered greed, and there is no other person that could do that but His Excellency Peter Obi. There's somebody who has a track record of such, and we believe strongly that once we have him as the commander-in-chief, we will critically address the issue of corruption. And once that is done, we'll begin to see that the economy will grow. We'll begin to see that even the issues that we have in insecurity will be tackled decisively, because His Excellency Peter Obi is someone who is decisive in action. I can tell you that. And you can look from the time when he was governor, the things he was able to accomplish, void of the fact that in Anambra State, before he became governor, there was strong presence of godfatherism, all right, but he was able to dismantle that level of kakistocracy, and he was able to ensure that there was a new Anambra State. So I believe that at this moment, the moment we are able to stay focused on the issue and get Mr. Peter Obi elected as the president and commander-in-chief in 2027, we would see a new Nigeria which we all dream of. And that is the vision of every youth and the Obedients as well.
All right, Emmanuel Idakwo, spokesman, North-Central Chapter Obidient Movement, would like to thank you for your response to Mr. Arabambi's of the Labour Party's claims earlier. It's good to have you.